LandFest as well, too, like I was saying before. Doing a great job, of course, in the gaming space and the charity space as well. You know, families, kids, you know, players, you name it, they got you covered in that regard. So, of course, check them out at their own events as well. Look them up on Google, you know, at LandFest on their website, but also check them out at DreamHack as well. They always have something for the community, most importantly, friends. All right, port priority, make some noise. Game number 1's finally here. Y'all still awake? Sorry about that.
You might not be for much longer, depending on what Ken's willing to commit to.
That's right. Let's lock in, friends.
Nah, I'm just playing, of course. I got a ton of respect for both of these players. I mean, Umeki being a huge TO in his country, Ken coming out here and playing his absolute best. And not just this port priority, but the last one as well. Made a top 8 performance happen. So let's see if he's able to push this one just a little bit further. So far, things are going his way, but only ever so slightly. There's right. Umeki responding with the back air. Turnip in hand. Can he do anything with it is the question.
That's the million-dollar question. Of course, Sonic just spends so much time moving around just to find that access point with Turnip. To get that string going is going to be a task within itself. But in that same regard, too, I don't see Sonic doing a lot of damage in terms of, like, pushing Peach off stage. Now, once she's off stage, that's a completely different story. But the process in getting her off stage, that's going to be very, very difficult because that means you're going to have to get up close and personal on her or Daisy. Okay. Turnip, nice. Up air looking good right now. The air game belongs to Umeki. Turnip in hand.
Yeah, he's just hanging on to it. And, of course, when you're floating, you're not going to throw the items. You have full access to all your aerials, especially that forward air. But unfortunately, it's not going to kill just yet. Now we got this stare down right here. Neither player willing to press a button at mid-range. You just know how good Sonic is at punishing that.
Okay.
Yeah, Peach with one of the best answers. She's able to float, play neutral at a slight elevation that Sonic can't really respond to all that well. First stock going to go the way of Umeki here.
That's right. Let's see how long he can hold on to this. Not for much longer. That forward air, of course, claiming the lives of many right there. Umeki, of course, no exception. Once you get caught on that ride, you're going to get dropped off in that blast zone more times than not. Okay, yeah, get up, bro. Okay, love that patience there, though, of course. Down there on shield, both sides really trying to fill each other out. We've seen this kind of in the Umeki versus Mude set with how important it is to get the opponent in the corner with Peach and to use back air, neutral special if spaced properly, and Nair to just try to pin you down in the corner. A character like Sonic, of course, no hitbox, not recovery. On their way back up, you have Nair in the corner and down air as well, too, to rinse and repeat the damage. Homing attack, my God.
Yeah, Ken finally getting in there. Find some part of the conversation, you know, to get a word in edgewise, but it's been all about Umeki for the vast majority of this game so far.
This is so difficult, man. Okay. Cross up backer, doesn't get anything off it, off stage again, and you got Peach floating over you. That's not a spot you want to be in at all. She can space that back, or excuse me, well, back here as well too, but she can also space forward air beautifully, making it very hard to punish.
Ken really trying to chisel away at this lead that Umeki has carved out for himself. Oh, and there it is. The whiff punished back air against the neutral air. Oh, and he waits out the air dodge too, knowing that Ken would be actionable. So smart.
You just got to stay a step ahead of the competition. And just like that, back air getting it done in the corner. Quick frame 6 option. Very easy to toss out, especially when you have the ledge advantage, man. Just staring over your opponent. What are you going to do on your way back up? You go for neutral get up. A lot of these options very safe. You go for row. If this move ends quick enough, I can go for the punish afterwards.
Ooh. Up air, turn it, neutral air, down throw. Oh, and Ken able to catch it with the air dodge, finally breaking free right there, but still not a great look, down almost an entire stock.
Okay, up here, up underneath the platform. Sharking from underneath. Ken right now having to get a little bit more aggressive here. I understand you have a very strong game plan at hand, but sometimes you have to switch up the flow here ever so slightly. What's up? Bye.
Float is just so useful. I mean, really across the board for Peach, but especially against Sonic. Again, able to not deal with spin dash on the ground, but also when Ken wants to go all the way out there and try to edge guard him, Umeki can just float all the way back and still recover courtesy of the up B.
Every time, man. Another down there on shield. This is looking anything but good. And I can't help but to feel like this match is starting to trail a little out of control. I mean, again, when he took that second stock, you know, to only be at like 50-60% is actually not a bad spot for Ken to be in at all. I mean, this is still Sonic. You slow the match down, or, you know, you get the right string of hits, you'll be in a good spot. But this match here, he just cannot get a word in, like you said before.
Yeah, still making it a little bit closer than it was before, but Umeki seems to be in firm control here, holding down the center stage, but hold up, Ken bursting through. He's got him on the platform. Oh no, I don't think that roll was what he was looking for. Might cost him an opportunity. That said, Rod, now it's only about 35% between these two. So much closer than it was earlier.
Oh my God.
No way.
Double nair to the forward air, getting it done. Umeki with the sigh of relief. You know that match was starting to spiral out of control. Was able to do away with them in that first game. My God.
That forward air hit from the back in the middle of Ken's tech roll too.
Bro.
I can't believe that actually connected.
Bro. It's a very silly girl.
All right. Looking pretty good here for Umeki, but of course, as time went on, Ken started to make that closer. And we did see the set record before. I'll say it again, 17-8 in Ken's favor. It would be so huge to win here on this massive stage at the hardest tournament in a long, long time.
That's right.
If Umeki's able to pull it off.
Yeah, definitely some bragging rights too. I mean, you can have the set lead on me, but I beat you at the biggest and the bestest of all of them. So what are you really to do right now? Next game is here, friends. First game going by the way of Umeki. Game number 2 is present, Pokemon Stadium. Now, again, we've got to see how important turnip is in a matchup like this, especially on those rare instances where Ken decides to approach and get them hands dirty. That's where things get a little scary for him. Okay, double back air. He's actually going to go for downer here this time. And smart enough right there for Ken. Just going for the high recovery immediately, not wanting to play the ledge game, the can-I recover game. Down there is such an active hitbox. Nair as well, too. You do not want to try to recover in and around that. Just get back on stage as quick as possible.
Yeah, both of these characters with some demonic aerials. You're going to see a lot more of them from Peach, I would guess, just because the float is such a core part of her gameplay, and her ground moves are a little bit worse. But that said, Ken loves flying through the air, too.
Yeah, he definitely stays airborne if I've ever seen a character do it myself. The problem is right now we have these platforms to really increase my mobility. You know, it's going to make it that much more difficult, I think, for Umeki to try to pinpoint where Ken is going to go.
Right, we're just on a wider version of the first stage we saw. Small battlefield, of course.
Yeah.
Similar layout, but this time Ken can run around a little bit more freely, pick up those whiff punishes. Oh, and Umeki wasting a dot eyes right there.
Yeah.
It could have been huge if he was able to string a combo together with it.
It's kind of difficult. Sometimes when you get the dot eyes, especially on a character or opponent, that's, you know, movement-wise is ambiguous. You know, he ain't quite camping yet, but, you know, it is on the horizon. I feel like the dot eyes will just force him to camp even harder, so I don't blame him for throwing it.
It's definitely the threat of the turnip that matters more than the hitbox of it, but hold up Ken, finding an early stock, the spin dash into up air. Looked like Umeki didn't quite have the correct EI. It's tough sometimes with vertical moves if your opponent's drifting through you.
Okay. Okay, another back air, of course. Ken right here not really trying to extend this lead for everything that it's worth. Umeki has to play from behind, and this is where things can get a little difficult. That last game just proved the importance of having that lead on a character like Sonic. But right now, not with the lead anymore. Has to play from behind, has to play the cat and mouse game, if you will. If he can force Ken into the corner or possibly off stage, that's where it seems to be home sweet home for him. Not just versus Sonic, mind you, as well, too. Even versus some of his other matches earlier. My God, the Mary Poppins back to the ledge. Practically perfect, but off the mark, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even think a spoonful of sugar is going to make this match feel any better for Umeki. It is just so different from the first go-round. He was basically up in the same situation, a full stock, and now Ken is doing it right back to him. It just shows what a little bit of extra space or maybe a slightly hotter start or maybe a little bit of both can do for you.
That's right. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Turnip's getting busy, though. This is what I was talking about. Nair in the corner. Down there this time. No, actually going to go for the back air, probably anticipating some weird drift away right there on Ken's behalf. Ken remaining as solid as ever with their recovery options.
I like the attempt with the Peach Bomber there, maybe getting a little desperate to close the stock out, but Ken lets the spin dash rip. Of course, he's got a little tiny bit of invincibility on startup as Sonic hops. So it's going to shut down those aerial approaches from Peach. That's why I think this matchup might be super rough for her. And it's not just the Peach Bomber that's going to work against. Forward air, though, finally going to seal the deal. Ken, a very healthy 2 stocks to play with. All he's got to do is just tap him once, something like a back air. Any smash attack will do the trick, but can he find it? Of course, Umeki, very ambiguous with his own movement.
That's right, and that's what you have to bring to the table. You cannot allow a character, a player as intelligent as Ken to start pinpointing your movement options. You have the item in hand, you have the turnip. What are you going to turn it into? Okay, struggling to get back onto solid ground. Ken's very good at playing this game. Spring force you out of position. Back here, come on, bro. You know you want to. Just flick that C stick.
Trying to get it done in the calmest, most methodical way possible, but against an opponent like Umeki, who's just keeping the pressure so tight with all these aerials, it's a lot easier said than done. The spin dash on the verge of actually closing that stock. But hold on, yeah, very deep up B there from Umeki. Still able to put a pretty sizable dent in Ken's lead here. Maybe if he opens him up with something crazy, we could see this go back to even.
Okay, right now, Ken's starting to pull away here in a big way. So let's see if he can do away with this next stock. Of course, it's always an execution test on Umeki's behalf. Once he gets that one hit, it can get real scary.
Oh, the second Stitch face of the game and a dot eyes. All three going to waste, not dealing a single point of damage for Umeki, and that might cost him here. You need to take that luck and run with it.
Just one time, man. Getting the threat of it, not really forcing Ken out of favor either. I felt like, you know, when it comes to bomb, Stitch face, any of that, he's just like, hey, it's cool. You got a cool option in your hand. I'm still too fast for it to matter.
I'm running away from all of them.
Yeah, bye.
Doesn't matter what face is on that turnip. Oh, hold on.
Wait a minute, face to face with the crown though. Wait a minute, forward air. Again, we've seen how good Umeki has been at just executing in the corner, especially with Nair, forward air, and back air, namely. But Ken right now looking as good as ever, coming up on the 2-minute mark here of this set. Oh yeah, back up, scoops.
The fact that that didn't kill Rod, I'm starting to feel like this game 2 might be a lost cause. Ken pulling ahead as time goes on. Forward air to stuff the approach as well. It's not looking good for Umeki.
Oh my God, another homing attack. Yeah, this match is just spiraling, trailing out of control, bro. He has to figure out something here and fast. Down air and back are just not getting the job done at all anymore. 134%. Oh my God.
Trying to put it on him twice in a row right there. Not working out either time. We got Ken setting up this edge guard. The forward air could close it out, but no, not quite. Umeki still hanging on just barely.
Okay, and that time going for the Peach Bomber, but no forward air follow-up or aerial follow-up at all afterwards. Ken's been pretty good about punishing that. That move's so difficult to deal with on shield. Speaking of difficult moves to deal with, here's Sonic's back air. Great stuff right here on Ken's behalf. That move right there takes no prisoners.
None at all. Did you see the freeze frame, by the way, Rod? There was a sizable 1-foot gap between Sonic's foot and Peach's body right there.
That's right.
Again, such a huge hitbox, vertically and horizontally. Ken gonna use that as an excellent air-to-air option. Of course, Peach spends a lot of time approaching you aerially, so he knows what he's gotta do to close that out. Did exactly that, and now we're at a tie game.
That's right, one game apiece right here in this set between these two absolute monsters, if you will. Umeki understands the set history between these two, but has to figure out a way to mount this victory. His Sonic play, not to be taken lightly at all. That first game, of course, got a little too aggressive. Peach kind of wants that boxing match, but that time didn't quite give it to him. They say, you know, I'm going to stay kind of away a little bit and just make the right hits count.
For sure. I mean, what Umeki has to do is make the first opening of the game count double, right? If you get that full punish game going with Peach, you're off to a great start. And if you take the first stock of the game, Sonic's got to come to you. He feels a lot less comfortable. He's not in his zone when that's happening. We'll see if he's able to pull that off here on Battlefield. I like this terrain switch. You got the top platform in play. You got a little bit of a shorter floor plan here as well.
That's right. Yeah, of course, playing that floor is lava gameplay is going to be a little bit more difficult, but again, you know, it's the age of saying the platforms give it, but they also take it away. So sometimes when you think you're landing comfortably, characters like Sonic can really get up underneath you and just make you pay for it. Really have to watch how you swing up there.
Both of these characters, some great sharking games, though. Some excellent up airs on both of their behalf. Let's see. It's now Ken who has to come down, falling freely from that up B. Umeki not putting the pressure on, though. Just kind of lets him get away with it. Gonna make every single one of these opportunities count, and missing the dash grab is huge. It's Ken's turn once again.
That's right. Not very many, you know, opportunities to go for that. You go for your turn up into something afterwards, but you really have to make them count. Dropping that's going to make the task at hand that much more difficult. Okay, looking for more of these nairs. Very, very safe on shield, of course. Down there, getting the job done, forcing them off stage, but it is the nair and the backer that really keep you in that corner, that keep you on punishment. Or even just that frame 2 jab. There's the nair, though, again. Down there, what's up?
Once again, the first stock really decides so much in a matchup like this, and it's gonna go to Ken. The raw call out on the neutral get up, forward smash to the face.
Okay. Ken right now knows his win condition, had the lead, excuse me, once upon a time ago. Back to even stocks right now. Umeki understanding I have to keep this one as airtight as possible. Cannot allow it to extend any more leads on me. Up air.
And let me put an asterisk on my former statement. The first stock only decides these games if you're able to get a sizable amount of extra credit. Ken did not do that whatsoever. Got the revenge kill immediately. Now let's see what Umeki's able to do this time around. Again, he really needs to keep the pressure up, but he needs to do it so safely and deliberately. Any wrong jump, any errant float can get called out and punished massively.
Man, and it kind of goes back to what you talked about, too. The platform's kind of taking away right there from Ken. You know, having that ability to land comfortably, but also when you're on the offense, that ability to shark up underneath can sometimes come back to bite you. He thought he was landing comfortably. Up smash does go through the platform and will catch you. No Z drop on the turn up here this time. Back air. Doesn't get anything off of it, man. But again, those aerials so potent in the corner. Even if they're not landing, the looming threat of that plus the turn up, something to make you think twice before coming back forward air.
Oh man, 54% each. It's just so close between these two. One game apiece on the board as well. And Umeki hanging on to the turnip as much as he possibly can. It's really the only mid-range threat that Peach is able to bring to the table. He's got another one, but Ken, he already knows. Hug the inside of the stage and you'll never have to interact with that. Oh, Umeki just jumping out of the corner. But it's Ken who finds the opener right there. Gonna get the spin dash into homing attack. Can't find the back air afterward. Umeki's DI a little bit too good for that.
That's right. DI has to be immaculate here versus both of these two characters, man.
Yeah, for combos and for survival. Wow, Ken knew that he couldn't get another hit in there. He's just gonna back off, maintain stage control here, wait for some kind of option out of the corner, but Umeki not biting.
Okay, playing this one very safe. The immediate spring, quick frame for escape option. I'm out of here. Not doing, oh, the beginning animation of up smash, I believe that's what it was. I seen the flowers and the ribbons come out.
Yeah, I was a little scared right there. I thought Ken was going to find his way right into the sweet spot of it. Instead, finds a forward air, goes up a stock yet again. Can he build extra credit this time around? That's the big question.
Okay. Oh, he's really trying here right now. A lot of options out of shield. You don't want to hold shield, though, versus Peach up close, or Daisy, excuse me. You understand what's at stake with that. Get up attack. Bit of an aggressive option.
Yeah, just fighting him off from the ground. Ken looking to get some kind of juicy starter here. 26%, not all that convincing of a lead, and Umeki's gonna shut it right down.
He knew
and a
too.
stitch. Stitch in hand. This could even it up in one shot. It does.
Okay, can he do something with it, though? Is the real question. Down there in the corner, not wanting to get rid of it, but has to, though. Okay, he's back onto stage, but at least we've evened it up.
Yeah, kind of a lucky break there for Umeki. Hold on, the parry. No, but Ken gets away with it.
Oh my God, he's getting away with murder right now. How is he pulling this off? Great footwork, nothing off the downer, and can't find the throw either. Forward air, of course, to keep him on that top platform. It's not your friend like how you thought it is. Turn up into dash attack, into forward air. Okay.
And another turnip as well. Again, needs that mid-range threat to scare Sonic a little bit.
All right, can I get some more fall away fairs too? -8 on shield. Spaced properly enough is going to be hard to punish. Airtight, but Ken starting to pull away.
Oh
Whoa!
no! Umeki just getting a little bit antsy in those last few situations. You saw him jump pretty aggressively back to center stage. Ken shut that down. Then you saw him air dodge all the way out there. I'm not sure why it was a directional air dodge down. Maybe just an input error there. But it cost him the game. And now Ken, one game away from moving on into the top 4 and gaining himself a spot at Watch the Throne.
And you know what's so funny, too? We got to see more opportunities throughout these last couple games where Umeki was dealing with dealing with Ken off stage, Ken Sonic. The fact remains the same, though. There weren't very many times we got to see it on the other foot, but the times we've seen it, we got to see Ken capitalize perfectly. Loving that nair in the corner, loving that downer in the corner. That's what you do when you're playing Daisy versus characters with no hitboxes on the recovery, but the fact remains the same. If you're floating, you're spending too much time. There are characters that might not spend as much time off stage, but that are very comfortable out there. Sonic happens to be one of them. Forward air and back air getting that job done off stage versus Daisy.
Also, I've just been given some great intel courtesy of Sean from school from Japan.
Nice.
Shout outs to him. And also shout outs to Top Hat Matt, who delivered this to me by hand.
Hell yeah.
The reason that Umeki is counterpicking The Roost as his song every time is because the kanji for the song title is the same as the owner of his esports organization, Murash Gaming. So he's showing some love.
Okay, word.
Yeah, I think he actually picked it again. I think I heard that song start up. Yes, sir. So shout outs to Murash Gaming. That's pretty lit.
Okay.
The song, I don't know. But the lore is fire.
There's a lot to be desired in this song. I'll put it, and really with a lot of Animal Crossing music. But let's just say I'm happy the franchise is here. Okay. Back here, getting it. Good percent right here. Reverse on the numbers, if you will. 15 to 51. But, of course, backer right here, bringing this thing just a little bit closer. And this is good, man. Again, nice. And see, that was another difference maker. We don't quite see as much of, you know, the counter with Toad, obviously because Sonic is not swinging on his way back to the stage.
Yep.
There's no hitbox on up B. But there are some opportunities where, again, if I'm up in this magnifying glass, if I'm trying to land comfortably, I will use this to alleviate pressure.
Yeah, you got to use every tool you have, at the very least as a mix-up. Obviously, it's not too consistent. It's a very laggy move.
That's right.
But if the situation calls for it, you got to whip out those tricks.
Yeah, this is a Usher situation right here, bro. Will arise indeed. Wait a minute. Okay, okay, now has to Mr. Saturn hand playing out his shield just became a no-no.
And you know what's so important about this Mr. Saturn? That Umeki can miss the throw and he'll stay on the stage. Yep. Oh, but Ken can also take it. No, he said, I don't even want to deal with this. Get rid of that.
Oh, damn. Okay, such a weird thing to see. I mean, usually when the turn up, the pulls, not even just turn up, just the pulls, everything you get, you see those utilized a little bit more carefully here, but Umeki electing just to play really more of just the boxing match versus Ken. And honestly, it's not terrible. I mean, Peach can definitely tussle, but if you got a tool in your hand, you already have so much more of an advantage in a lot of ways versus your opponent.
Oh, stuck at the ledge, and yes, Ken hunts him down. The forward tilt to close that stock out. This is looking really good for the blue blur right here. Oh, man, spin dash into homing attack into absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. What is it good for, man? Well, a lot right there, but unfortunately just a little off the mark with the execution. 51% here. This right now is looking at anything but good right here. If you're Umeki, Umeki has to figure out a way to find some of these openings with these aerials that he's so desperately searching for. Forwarder not getting it done. Even the threat of forwarder right now, not enough to make Ken falter. Nair and back air, of course, your calling card when you can pin Ken down. But that's just it. There's not very many times where you can do that.
Oh, hold up, though. The turnip hitting Ken off stage. Doesn't matter. Still no problem for him to recover, but getting off the ledge is a different story. That forward air occupying so much space. Covers the jump, covers the neutral getup. And now Umeki with a fighting chance. Still battling for his tournament life right now. This could be the end of the road for him.
I don't want to call it just yet because, again, I've seen Umeki make some crazy comebacks, but I don't know if this one's going to be one of them right now. Does have the turnip in hand right now and just has not found a lot of success with it. Please watch how you get back on this ledge. Okay, nice. Platform's not your friend. Love the bit of delay on that follow-up.
Oh, but it lets him out of his clutches. Ken finding some respite on that platform. How much can Umeki do with this pressure that he's got? Not so much. Finally going to see a trade go through. Breaks Ken out of a bad spot. And, oh, all right, 2 back airs. Hold up. He's still fighting. This lead getting smaller over time, but not by all that much.
Okay, 128. This one is getting pretty close.
All right, never mind. Umeki officially a contender in this game once again. It was a full stock lead for Ken at some point. Now it's a nail-biter.
That's right, and again, courtesy of that pressure in the corner, Nair and backer most notably. Backer being as safe as it is, -6 on hit, so Ken's gonna have to think twice before jumping out the corner. Hell, even rolling as well too. That move ends so quick, you think just because you roll, you're out of harm's way. Absolutely not. I can go for a grab and reset the situation. Turn up in hand though. What's it gonna be?
Well, the second hit of that forward tilt dropping, I don't think it would have killed, but even still, it feels bad for Ken. He could have set up an edge guard off of that. Now Umeki gonna be able to float to safety, and no, Ken picking his spots so well, answering these ledge options perfectly. Up throw, up air, yup, Ken starting things off. Getting a little extra credit established. How much more can he take him for, though? So many moves, and Peach's moveset will kill.
Okay, and he's definitely throwing all of them out. Not quite getting the sharking from up underneath that we've seen before. Up air, not quite as potent as it was in some of the other sets. And up smash as well. Having to dig a little bit deeper right now. Turn up back in hand. Nothing off back here, but does get a trade. Put it down.
Skipping the ledge right there. And now it's Ken who has the dot eyes. No, never mind. Not able to do anything with it. Chases to the top of the homing attack. And this might be the end of the line for Umeki, depending on the ledge trap. Ken psyching him out. Back turn, threatening the back air. But no, it's just going to be an empty land.
Whoa.
Grab the homing attack for the snipe. What do you got for us, Ken?
Okay. Oh, and the force smash gets it done. A valiant effort from Umeki, but Ken is moving on to the next portion of bracket and clutching a spot at Watch the Throne.
Man, taking the throne from Princess Peach herself. Princess Daisy, sorry.
Princess Daisy. Still a
Umeki,
throne
Daisy
worth taking.
loyalist. Yeah, man. All right, Ken, congratulations. Advancing into the top 4. No easy feat. even just showing up in this top 8 was extremely difficult, far beyond my own capabilities for sure. So big props to both of these guys making it this far, but only one can move on. In this case, it is Ken. Despite that Game 1 win from Umeki, just wasn't able to find any other openings.
You know, such a tough one. I feel like, again, when you're just not going for your, your strings with turnip, it just becomes that much more difficult. Versus other characters, sure, they're going to spend a lot more time approaching Peach, and Peach doesn't mind a good boxing match. He has great options. Nair, down tilt, frame 2 jab. She can shut you down and really pin you down in the corner, or really even center stage. The fact remains the same, though. Ken approaches when he wants to, and there's no turnip big enough in your toolkit that's going to force him to do what you want him to do. And of course, we've seen that play out, unfortunately, in Umeki's behalf. Ken looking good, moving on.
What a great set all the way through, though. Of course, 2 of Japan's finest coming out here, duking it out on this massive stage here in Seattle, Washington at Port Priority. Guys, Rod and I got one more for the night. Can you lend us some of your energy? Let me hear you, Port Priority.
We need some energy, crowd. Come on, give us something, all right?
All right. Lord. They're still with us. Yeah, look at you beautiful people.
My man's got the guns out. Look at him. Arms are out with the tattoos. I see you, bro.
You got a smirk out of him?
Uh-huh. He said, I guess I do go to the gym. My man's ripped.
Man, thank you to all you guys just for showing up. It doesn't matter what you placed, as long as you had a good time, as long as you're here giving us your support, giving Scott your support, a magnificent TO. He's been doing it now 8